And we're live.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for your patience. Happy Halloween. Welcome to episode 112 of the Cardano Effect podcast. This is the Gauntlet series. We have 4 special guests who are joining us today. We're going to get right into the mix of things. Rick, how are you doing today? What's going on? What's happening?
Hodl. Happy Halloween, Philippe. Hey, I'd like to give a shout out to the Cardano Foundation for sponsoring this podcast. Thank you very much, Cardano Foundation. And I would like to thank all of our guests who are here with us today. We have Chris, Steven, Jeronimo, and Rob are here to present their Project Catalyst proposals. Welcome to the Gauntlet, gentlemen. Glad to have you here, and welcome everyone, all the viewers, to the Gauntlet, which is a mini series of the Cardano Effect. All right, now the format for the Gauntlet, we're going to be starting off with Chris first, very shortly. It'll be Chris, Steven, Jeronimo, then Rob. The format for the Gauntlet is each guest has up to 20 minutes. The first 5 to 10 minutes will be their elevator pitch. They may do screen shares or however they would like to present their Project Catalyst proposal. Okay, I have a timer here. It's not to be rude. It's just to keep us timed well. All right, so the first 5 to 10 minutes will be the person's pitch. Then the next 5 minutes will be members of the Gauntlet. Anybody here can ask questions of the presenter. And the last 5 minutes will be from chat. So once we get to the last 5 minute section, I'll be asking for your inputs in chat so that we can get your inputs and your questions for the Project Catalyst proposal. Format. Philippe, are we ready to start? We have Chris. Chris won the coin toss, right? And took first place or however that went.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go. Chris, the floor is yours. You can start when you want to start.
Okay, fine. I just need to share my screen.
Okay.
You're going to enable me?
Okay. Make co-host. Are you good, Chris? You have the green indicator at the bottom center.
It's still saying host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, one moment. Okay, now it'll show up in a moment.
Okay, good.
Yep. There it is. There you go.
Okay, so thanks very much for inviting me along to the Gauntlet, Rick and Philippe. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Sir. Okay. Actually, I don't think you're seeing the right side of the screen, so let me see if I can. Let's try again. Is that showing?
It's showing.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, right, okay. So yes, let's go. So yeah, Cardano Mobile. So basically, the idea for my proposal is really to have everything that is going on in the Cardano ecosystem available to you on a mobile. Because the very first thing that pretty much everyone does these days before they go to bed or wake up in the morning is look at their mobile. At the moment, I think there are around sort of more than 50 kind of sites that you would have to go to if you wanted to find out what's going on within Cardano. So in terms of looking at the problem, in terms of what was set for us by the Catalyst project, what are the low-hanging fruits in terms of how do we attract developers and entrepreneurs, and what kind of apps and businesses already developed in the next 6 months. So that's I think that was the challenge that was set us. So what would be the utopia? What would be the ideal? So the ideal for me in terms of the way I looked at trying to resolve this problem is showcase developers and entrepreneurs who've actually got projects within the Cardano using ADA. Also give the ability to share with the developers the tutorials and communicate the business and the developer events. And also able to do that is to create a mobile app that provides you with that. So you'll be able to get real-time updates, understand when events are happening, whether tutorials are happening, conferences, that sort of thing. And also look at some of the business applications, the real world applications that have actually been deployed so that you can see how you could possibly use the infrastructure to be able to deliver on those goals, the problem statements. So just in terms of how I came about coming up with this idea. So in 2018, I actually met Charles at one of the meetups. Back then, I was using Trello as a repository to store information regarding the Cardano project. So it was always my vision to be able to try and wade through all of the information that was being, sort of shared with so many different sources, whether it be websites or podcasts, is to have one repository. And I built a platform using Trello. Trello is a system whereby you can have different cards. It's typically used for agile kind of project management, but I found it very useful. So when I met Charles, I started using that tool. I later then took the information out of that and used Microsoft's OneNote project as a way of being able to consolidate and come up with one hub. And then in 2020, when the opportunity came around for me to be able to participate, I thought, okay, good idea would to be able to put that onto a mobile. So that's really kind of covering the kind of heritage in terms of where we are today. In terms of timing, so like I said, IdeaScale presented the opportunity to come up with a kind of working prototype in terms of being able to get to a fully working MVP. So that's where I'm kind of got to at the moment. So I have a full working prototype. And there are basically Cisco, they actually estimate there are about 50 billion devices. So if we're trying to attract people, whether it be on a developer standpoint or a business standpoint, everyone literally has a mobile phone. And people are using their phones up to 150 times a day. So it seems the right platform if you want to reach people. We go where that community is. So the actual prototype is out there at the moment. It's available. I've got 76 registered users. The bulk of them are coming in from investors. Within the app, I can actually categorize the users by being able to either ask for them to participate in a form that's built into the app. So traction is already there. In terms of the target market, so at the moment, the way I look at it is there are over 1,879 Ethereum developers out there at the moment, and that's what I'm thinking that this app could be targeted at. So, that's the target market. And in terms of the business entrepreneurs, I'm targeting those entrepreneurs which are already part of the Crypto Entrepreneurs podcast. So that's where I could see this app specifically targeting to satisfy the challenge that the Project Catalyst presented us with. So what are the advantages in terms of actually coming up with a mobile, for this solution, mobile app? So the advantage is we get real-time notifications, being able to be alerted of noteworthy information as it happens, real time. So as you can see on the left, this is when the Cardano Foundation had a new CEO. That gets sent instantly to all of the registered users. So there's no need to actually try and sift out the information, whether it be on Reddit or on Twitter. The other advantage is all the breaking news. This news is coming in from 1,000 different sources, which I pay for. Again, one place on the app. The third advantage is you get a sight of the events. So if you've got conferences, IOHK meetings, again, it's all there laid out for you. And then the fourth advantage is, as you can see here, these are the business opportunities, real life applications that have been developed. There's a developers section, and then there's also other things that are happening within the community, whether it be ambassadors, interviews, and so on. So in terms of the approach, so the idea is consolidate the information, real-time delivery on your mobile. That would be the path to reach the developers and businesses using social media, using the events, meetups would be the route to be able to reach that target audience. In terms of revenue, the viability of it, so there's ongoing costs in terms of sourcing the information and paying for that. So that could be done by premium subscription. So within the actual app itself, there will be certain sections that will be premium. Obviously, there's the possibility of using ads and dedicated pages for pool operators. Okay, a little bit about me. So I've kind of worked with large organizations, typically investment banks, for the last 20 years. I've actually also got a developer background. I've created the actual prototype. And then what I'm looking to do is partner with RPA tools to be able to build out and improve upon the UX and possibly deploy to iOS and Android, if that's the way that the community wants us to go. So in terms of the roadmap, at the moment, we've got a fully functional prototype. The next step would to build out the MVP and improve the UX, then look to have the Apple and Google releases, and then have the possibility of implementing one of the other guests today, possibly the AD, have a wallet. I can use your API and stuff like that. And if I get additional features, so I know, Rick, you launched the YouTube, Cardano YouTube channel. Another thing would be possibly to implement the sourcing of that and collating of that again into the app, because it can play those videos directly on it. So rather than having to go to another platform again, which would be Telegram, you've got one point of contact and that mobile app. And that's it. Like I said, the prototype's up. We have our own Twitter page. We've got our Facebook page, email set up, domain is set up. It's a fully functional prototype. I'd be delighted if there were some more people who'd like to give the prototype a try. And I look forward to see if I can get funding to build this out, because I think it's going to be something, as we get more and more people moving to the kind of Cardano ecosystem, that they're going to be looking to go to one place to get all this information. Okay, guys, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You can go ahead and bring down that screen share.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Chris, very much. Thank you very much. So the first question I have from the Gauntlet here, now only one of the members here for the next 5 minutes can ask questions.
Sure.
That was great time. That was excellent. The first question I have here is, what kind of user data is collected and how is it protected? Let's start with what's collected and how do you protect it? Because it's crypto. Right?
So in terms of user data, the only thing that at the moment I'm asking for is an email address to give you the ability to be able to do the chat features within the application. There is a privacy policy in there which kind of explains how I'm doing that, and it's also it's AWS, so all of the provisions that you've got with using Amazon services, so there isn't any kind of potential issues there. So yeah, there's no data as such. There is a form in there that I ask people to put in, which is literally just identifying whether they are an investor or a business person or a developer, so that we can then get to a point of being able to see whether we've met the metrics. We can actually produce a metric. So for example, if you get funding, there's a certain amount of detail I can then come back to the community and say, right, okay, we've got a certain amount of developers, we've attracted a certain amount of businesses. So that's really the only amount of data that's there.
So what's the real protection layer there? You mentioned Amazon Web Services, that provides some kind of hack resistance so that people don't go in. Was that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Can you describe that a little bit so people get set at ease, and then we'll go to some more questions? How does it protect people? How does it protect users' data?
Well, there isn't, like I said, the data that we're storing there isn't any actual names and address. Well, it's just got the email address. That's literally the only thing. The kind of protection that would be as part of AWS, it's kind of standard in terms of being able to not being hacked. So that's really the kind of protection that you're getting. So I don't actually have to use the infrastructure, which is hosted centrally myself on my own servers. It's something that I would rely on AWS to be able to make sure it's hack resistant.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Okay.
I have a question, Chris. So one
Sure.
of the issues with mobile apps is that if there's not a good sort of incentivization model, it dies after a certain period of time. So I see that your roadmap extends into Q1 of 2021, And you did mention that you're going to add some sort of premium features in your website or in the app. How can we expect, how is this app going to be maintained over a long period of time? Is the incentivization model that you're thinking about enough to sustain your team of 3 in order to continue making updates to the app? Because I'm sure that there are going to be new news sources that you're going to have to add and things that you may have to manually put in the app that you can't necessarily take from some sort of data feed. So how are you going to maintain that for a long period of time?
Right. So on the data sources side, that will be that's fully automated because like I say, I'm paying for those services, right? And it's so that's fine. You are right in terms of the updating. So the idea would be, the way I'm looking at this going forward would be there would be an update, manual update into a central database, and then that would be defined into certain categories. Then that would then automatically feed the automation of the production of the calendar. At the moment, with the prototype, it is manual. It's not it's not a burden in terms of being able to make the update, because it's an appointment is pretty straightforward. And to be honest with you, I'm not getting so many calendar updates at the moment that it's an issue. So in terms of being able to maintain that, the cost of doing that is not huge. As additional data sources come, again, I've got over 1,000. I think I've got every kind of site covered out there at the moment, what's out there in the system. So it is possible to be covered in terms of viability. And I've looked at some of the ways in terms of being able to, like I said, in terms of advertising. If the community do not like the advertising approach, then there would be more around assisting, for example, pool operators, having dedicated areas within the application for pool operators. Because at the moment, I think they're trying to reach out to a community via a number of different platforms. If they go to the mobile app, they'll have their own dedicated page with their video. They'll be able to communicate directly with their community within the app. And that would be a very kind of cost-effective way for them to be able to reach people who are either participating in their pool, or new people who are coming on into the infrastructure that they may want to be able to attract.
Okay.
So I hope that covers it.
All right. And that was 5 minutes exactly. Are there any last real quick by the way, questions, anything? All right, we're going to roll over to the chat. We got 5 minutes for that, so I'm going to hit pause. Well done, Chris. Thank you very much. All right, so going to the chat, I don't see any questions over there yet for Chris. So if you have questions in the audience, post them over there in chat. If there's no questions, we will continue on, and we will take any other questions from the Gauntlet. That way we can make best use of that 5 minutes.
Can I make a question?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Jeronimo, go ahead and ask a question while people ask questions in chat. Go for it.
Okay, I see that the content is pulled automatically. Now, how is that going to be filtered? Because there may be lots of content that you get that is junk or just duplicates and adapted content that was copied from another article and things like that. So how is that filtering is going to happen?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So my idea there would be items would be put into a database, and then we'd run SQL kind of queries using. I'm a database. I'm a kind of programmer, so I'm trying to kind of put it in a less technical way. But essentially, the way I look at it is it'll go into a database. There'll be the ability to be able to run a SQL query on it, and that will then bring back metrics to be able to ascertain whether the article is pretty much the same or not, right? At the moment, the third party that I'm relying on, they are doing a lot of the screening anyway. So I don't see that to be an issue with the prototype that I had at the moment. They've done a lot of screening of that, so that hasn't presented itself at the moment as an issue, but very conscious of what you're saying. But the quality of what I'm paying for looks like it's sufficient. So it's not it's not just going out and getting the data. It is being verified and looked at. So I don't know if you've had a chance to see. It's been pretty good, actually. I mean, it's finding things on Twitter and Reddit that are relevant as opposed to junk.
Yeah, because currently you can have fake news and you know, all that sort of stuff. Someone can create a very good looking article that is new and then put a link to download a wallet that will steal your seed phrase or things like that.
Yeah, or send me 1 Bitcoin, I'll send you 5 back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we got a question in the chat. Philippe, you want to bring that around to a question? We'll be in our last one. Thank you, Jeronimo.
Tressis Nov says, can I advertise my meetup on your app?
Absolutely.
And also, is there any plans for new languages? And that's from Maria.
Absolutely. We can put that on the roadmap for new languages, of course. And currently, you can advertise. I welcome getting more people to make me aware of what's there so that I can actually put it on. So you may have noticed, I think there's something on the calendar today for the Halloween, that Charles is attending. I think that's on there. There's Chicago meetups also. So it's not restricted to just the UK. This is kind of like worldwide. Also, if you go into the app, you'll look and you'll see it's got coverage. I think Korea's on there and all these other different places. It's amazing how much content is out there. Yeah. But I'm kind of, you know, the beauty about the app is that you can go into the app and send me a chat message directly, and then that information will come directly through to me and it will get updated as per the calendar. So you don't have to use Twitter or Reddit or all these other sources. You can actually update. You can send me documents directly within the app. You can also send me a message directly within the app. And that app, as part of the community, can then take that information and add it to, it can be added to the calendar.
Okay. All right. So we have 1 minute left, and I'll take the last question here. And that was from E. Monty. Does paying for premium work in this day and age? I'm going to just, does paying for premium work in this day and age, or how will the paying for premium work?
I guess, like I said, it's very early stages. What I've done is I've got a format there to try and get a sense of what people really think might add value. So for example, you know, the calendar feature to me is something that potentially somebody might pay for. So there was a conference that was held in, what was it, Wyoming? And there was also a 3D conference that was held where IOG actually had a virtual 3D stand. And you could go up to the stand and ask questions directly. And that stand was hosted by IOG staff. Now, somebody might think that has particular value because you wouldn't normally know about it or you wouldn't be able to get to it. So I think it does, the subscription model, if you're really adding value, then I think it is worthwhile because it's not a huge amount. I haven't actually come up with a full amount in terms of what that's likely to be, but it's not going to be a high amount. It'll just be really to cover the cost of the sources of the data and the ability to be able to improve the app in terms of the roadmap.
All right, and that is time.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Problem.
All right. Before we go into the next person, let us know in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. How did Chris do with his proposal and his presentation? With 5 being average and 10 being awesome. Let us know on a scale of 1 to 10 what you think. Give us some feedback in the chat for Chris. It's always very helpful for feedback. And thank you, everyone, for the questions. Philippe, are we getting ready for the next person for the Project Catalyst? What do you got, buddy?
Yes, the next person is Rob. Rob is going to be talking about Fox rewards, fitness, and mental health. So, Rob, the floor is yours whenever you want to start.
Yep. Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Here we go. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So Fox rewards. What's it all about? So Fox Rewards and Mental Health is a web-based portal that encourages users to achieve goals and rewards them with points and levels up and cryptocurrency. So it's a gamification system. It will be free to you, to the users, and it will be aimed to be as decentralized and as open as possible. Now, the system is aiming to improve people's fitness, the mental health, mindfulness. I know these are completely massive topics. Now, it will do this by gently providing different goals for users to achieve, and the system will integrate with various hardware devices like Fitbit, local places of interest, such as gyms, beauty spots, online areas. The goals themselves, they will be in terms of, say, for fitness, you will earn a goal by earning 5,000 steps per day or 10,000 steps a day. And the artificial intelligence behind the system will mean the system is absolutely unique to the individual user. So if you're not a very fit person, maybe you'll just achieve 1,000 steps a day. Or if you're a very fit person, then it'll try and push you a little bit further. And it'll always aim to try and push you about 5% extra during the week. It will, there'll be various ways of earning points. Not everybody will be into fitness. There'll be awards for listening to podcasts. If you're a walker, just walk into a local beauty spot, listening to meditation videos or books, or attending courses, and there's lots that interconnects the three different genres together. The rewards themselves, so like I say, they'll be achieved for they'll be given to people for achieving the goals, and they'll be cumulative as well. So if you achieve your steps one day, 5,000 steps one day, and then 5,000 steps the next day, you'll get a bonus for achieving that 2 days. You'll have level ups. So once you've earned so many points, you'll go to the next level, and again you'll start achieving badges, and then eventually you'll be rewarded by cryptocurrency. And the cryptocurrency is the Cardano ADA token. Now this was a system that I've had in mind for the last 5 years, but it was just missing that sizzle, as they say, when you're building a product. So let's say your product is a sausage, you sell the sizzle, and I've always had the missing piece, and the missing piece for this system, I believe, is the cryptocurrency, is the Cardano. So I actually started this project back in January, and built the team there, and it's been 9 months in the making so far. So once you get your rewards, there's various ways of spending those rewards. We will have a shop where you can cash in and get discounts from various shops and various partners that we want to build with the system. You'll be able to trade them in for discounts on courses and gym membership. Next year, I'm sure gyms will be open again. Currently at the moment, so they're not with the Rona going around. And the cryptocurrency that you earn, the ADA token, it's your own. You can remove it, put it in your own wallet. You can do whatever you want with it. It will have, like I say, it's a web-based, so it will give you nice feedback. The interface is a modern, responsive web-based that works on mobile or works on desktop, laptop. It's everywhere you go. And the system, like I say itself, with the artificial intelligence behind it, will reward you and try and push you to that different level. So to begin with, obviously, while you're new to the system, you just go for a daily level 1, and maybe you'll just do 7,000 steps a day. But if you push yourself that little bit further, you'll be rewarded. You'll get to level 2, level 3. So the roadmap itself is to complete the fitness area of the website and achieve the minimum viable product. We want to partner with a number of gyms, health facilities, and build the e-commerce side and the booking course for the system. We want to partner with a number of schools and local football teams, netballs, and encourage fitness of children. And the mental health and the mindfulness side will be built later on following further funding of the system. Once the project is self-reliant, we recognize this is a really ambitious project, and what we don't want to do is go and try and achieve everything from day one and then put massive risk on the project's failing. So we're going to go for the fitness to begin with, but we are very aware that fitness is good for some people, but other people that struggle with mental health and mindfulness, they will want to attack the system in a different way, which I'll get onto in a minute. So the whole topic, like I say, brings into so many different areas of mental health, physical health, and these all do interlink together. So it's a really complicated area. The overall goal when the whole system is built is you will be presented within the system of a really basic questionnaire of how do you feel today, and maybe your goal today will be you might want to achieve 5,000 or 6,000 steps today, and you might do that for 4 or 5 days. But then on some other days, depending on your mental health, there could be days when you don't even want to get out of bed. So 4 or 5 days you're on a complete fitness high, and then on that 5th day the system will adjust, and instead of fitness, because that's the last thing you'll be thinking about, it will try and take you down more mindful techniques, looking into maybe giving you some podcast or some helping or some support. We want to build up a decentralized partner network and capture the whole ethos of Cardano being decentralized. So there'll be user-based content. When people struggle, they don't necessarily want to speak to other people or to the authorities. So self-help, I think, would be a really important part of the ecosystem. But obviously then when you are ready to move on to that next step, or maybe the system is recognizing that there might be need some intervention, that there will be the useful numbers where you can move on to the onto that next level. But I believe that a lot of the user-based content, which will be censored, and it won't just allow people just to put things up. It will be moderated. I think it will be a really unique part of the system that can be really helpful for people when they just need something just to get out, just to get them through the next day. Like I say, the system itself can expand to all different levels. What we're doing here is we're building a business here that will be around 20, 30, 40, 50 years and beyond. So I don't want to achieve everything within the first 6 months or 1 year, which is why I've not asked for full money. Something like this will obviously take a lot of development over time, and I want it to evolve organically. If we don't get to achieve the mental health or the well-being for a couple of years from now, that's not a problem at all. I want the project to succeed, so the project will go at a pace that it needs to go. So the team itself, I'm self-funding the project at the moment. I have been since January. All my team members are loyal team members that I've worked with over the last 20 years. Some of them I've only met over the last few years. We all have full-time jobs. This is something that we're working on part-time, and the goal is eventually to turn this into a full-time job for everyone and attract other developers onto the system. We have a really good founding team, and we have, I believe, enough to get the project at least to the first goal of the fitness website to be built.
Okay, 30 seconds left.
Okay, and yes, so what will success look like? To have the fitness area built, to have the shop working with a small number of partners, and to build on with the gyms. And that's my presentation. I do have 2 other proposals that are very similar within here, but this is the main one.
Excellent. And that's time.
Okay.
All right. You can get and bring that screen share down.
Yep. How do I do that?
Just top center of the,
There we
you go. You got it. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Rob. That was Rob's presentation up to that point. Next, we have 5 minutes for questions from the Gauntlet. Rob, my first question is a very brief one.
Yep.
I use those mindfulness audio when I have a long drive or from driving to and from work, and I'm not feeling good about things. I'll turn on a mindfulness audio, and they have a very small fee. The ones that I have, they were maybe $1.99 or some very, very small fee, or they're on Spotify, and I've got a paid premium Spotify. So my question is, if you're going to provide those videos, would the user be able to use their rewards to purchase additional videos, or additional audios, for example? Or how's that going to work? Like, how can I get more audio content, or are you going to use open source content for the
Yes, both. I mean, the system itself has to be sustainable. So there will have to be an element where it builds itself. So there will be an option to partner up and to pay for those videos, even if it's just an affiliate scheme. But yeah, absolutely. I want the system to have as much user-based content as possible. So I will not be pushing anyone down a paid version. So there'll be lots of free content on there. And I myself, yes, every now and again I go and listen to a nice meditation, but I think it really helps on an evening. If you can't sleep, it's great for children as well. We just lie there and we'll just listen to a 10-minute quadrant. It's amazing how you just get into a habit and just drop off.
Thank you.
Rob, so kudos to you for self-funding the project, but I also wanted to add, how is this sustainable as far as ADA rewards for all the users on your platform? I mean, you mentioned things about partnering with certain like Fitbit or certain things to measure distance or steps taken one day, but that can easily be gamed by anyone who, there are so many bots in crypto and so many people that would create fake accounts just to drain up whatever ADA supply you had. So how is it sustainable to give out these rewards?
Well, the ADA itself will be generated. I mean, we will put money into stake pools, so we will generate free ADA. We will every time we earn commission of people joining via partners, or if people book a course and the organization pays us, we will again accumulate ADA in the background. I'm 20 years in as a developer, so I'm aware of all kinds of scams that goes on. So that the number one thing that we're building into the system is we don't want people to cheat, nor do we want to be cheated ourselves, which is why we're looking at building in Fitbits, because we believe that's going to be very difficult and for people to try and cheat these systems. But again, we will be building software in to look at insights, and if we see a pattern, we'll close it down and we will learn from it. It's like all software problems. So you will have these issues, and it's just how you adapt to them.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, minute and a half left. Any questions from the Gauntlet? Chris, Stephen, Jeronimo, anybody?
So go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's a lot. It's great, and I like the idea of it being linked to, piggybacking off of existing tech that's out there like Apple Watch and Fitbit. I'm more concerned, or the little red flag was waving in my head about, like, on the back end, the kind of the two-way marketplace between all these people that are using it and generating rewards, and then the things that they can purchase with it. Essentially, do you have? I know marketplaces are nice, and it seems like a no-brainer. Like, if you build it, they will come. But in practice, it's usually a lot more difficult than that. Do you feel like that's enough of an incentive for people to come on board? And two, what's the strategy behind kind of seeding both sides of the marketplace at the same time?
Yeah,
30 seconds left.
Yeah, I think that the key to this will be the partners. So the gyms, this will be an incentive with the insurance companies as well, that wanting to get people back into fitness, wanting to give them extra mental health. So the funding will come from these other companies. They will use our tool as part of one of their many tools. And it'll be an advantage to joining their gym, because you will get access to this system that they will pay us a small commission for, which will give the system free to the users. And you know, the marketplace itself may generate some money. You know, we might sell the odd Fitbit here and there, but really we're not counting on that. We're counting on the revenue coming from the partners.
Okay, that's time. All right. Okay, thank you, Rob. Philippe, you want to take us over to chat and
Yes.
see if we get questions over there?
Okay. Let's see. I guess you touched on this earlier, but if you want to expand, from Phil Lewis, where does the reward ADA come from and who supplies it? So maybe touch on to that initial. Is that what the fund that you're asking for? Is that the amount that you're asking for funding the actual rewards, or is it for funding the project? Or would you come back later for that reward money where you could start distributing?
Yeah, well, the rewards themselves, as we're generating income, that income will be fed back into the system. So we will constantly be purchasing ADA, and we will be staking it. So there'll be lots of ways of us generating ADA, and I think that's probably the main area that we're generating ADA, purchasing it ourselves and staking it.
Okay. Rick, do you see any more questions from chat?
Nope, not really in the form of a question. It was just, the main one was from who will pay for this ADA to feed the system. Was that covered pretty well?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see.
So I have a quick outside question. So are you going to be you touched on using your own types of rewards. Is it just going to be ADA, or are you going to release some sort of NFT within that system to give people Fox points or something like that? Or is it just going to be ADA rewards?
Yes, there is multiple levels. So the first levels is, we are calling them Fox rewards. They are, I suppose, that within the system themselves, that they're just held within the database, but there is no reason why we can't turn that into NFTs and build our own coin. It's not something at the moment that we have available, because we're obviously new to the space, and once that's built, we built within the Cardano network. So we're waiting for the ecosystem to evolve, and the system will evolve and take full advantage of whatever Cardano offers us.
Excellent, thank you. You know, one thing we didn't touch on was the physical fitness part. If I were to go run 5 kilometers, would I get a little bit of a reward somehow?
Yes, you would.
All right.
You would,
it could get distance traveled. Is there any privacy thing? You'll have settings in there, so if I turn on my location or turn off my location, it will have the same privacy settings as the Android or Apple device, or how does that work?
No, we don't take any of the location whatsoever. All we receive from Fitbit is the total number of steps. That's all we go off, very minimum.
All right. I think that's it. Any other questions? We covered chat. We covered the Gauntlet. Any other questions, guys? We got 1 minute left on this one. Actually, 2 minutes. Any? All righty, we're good. Okay, so thank you very much, Rob. What I'd like to ask the viewers to do is let us know in the chat, how did you like Rob's presentation? How well did it go on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being average and 10 being awesome? Give us a heads up over in the chat. Give Rob some feedback. And as a reminder, our first presenter was Chris, and Chris presented the Cardano mobile app, and Rob just presented Fox Rewards. In the description down below is a link to their Project Catalyst proposal. So you can go to the description down below, find either Chris or Rob's link. You can select their link, go over to Project Catalyst, and leave them some written feedback. Let them know what you think. Let them know how they can improve. Anything you learned from this podcast, you can add it to their proposal. And if you really like their proposal, feel free to leave them some kudos by hitting the clap button at the top. That will leave them some kudos. Links are down below in the description. All right. Philippe, we ready for the second half?
Yes, yes. So the next person that's going to be presenting is Stephen. Stephen is presenting the Pyne Fund. So Stephen, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you guys. And special shout out to James he's got the Cardano starter kits proposal, and he kindly gave up his spot today for us. So thank you, James, for that. The Pyne Fund is made up of myself and Phil Lewis, who is in Australia, should be asleep, but is probably still tuned in. Phil is a 20-year IT guy, systems engineer. Myself come from a real estate finance and development background, as well as being involved with some tech startups. And our concept and premise is simple. We want to create a stake pool and set the operator margin to 90% or more and put up zero pledge and distribute any rewards generated to certain entities. In this case, we're picking the first pool is going to be dedicated to 4 different companies, charities, nonprofits, centered around the idea of sense making sense of news, what's going on in the world, getting the signal from both sides of the spectrum. And essentially, the Pyne Fund will act as kind of a mediator or a handholder between those companies for the first fund and the delegators, and will help make updates, give information, as well as operate and manage the pool as it goes. And this is, as a concept, is not, I think, one of the big questions. It's a hard, well, maybe not hard, but sometimes a difficult thing to wrap your mind around. We're not trying to compete with other stake pools for rank, that is, and honestly not trying to attract a random delegator to get them to stake their ADA. This is supposed to be, in essence, a way to open up for companies or charities or nonprofits that may not have any involvement with blockchain, with ADA, to softly bring them into the community and say, hey, you raise funds through donations, let's say. What if there was a way, you have a huge donor pool, maybe people would donate to you, but they don't want to give away money, they need their savings. What if there was a way for them to essentially just put money into a savings account and have it generate interest that was going to go to you? Could you sell that? Would that bring in more money for you? And we think that that's as simple of a way as we can make steps to do that, and also help bring in some delegators as well, some new people into the ecosystem that are willing to, or that we can teach how to convert to ADA and stake it. And so that's essentially all we want to accomplish with this. The funding we've requested from Project Catalyst is pretty small, just enough to create our first stake pool and operate it. And the Pyne Fund, or us, is really only there to facilitate things and to make sure the flow of information between everybody is above board, and essentially to just choose who the recipients or the benefactors are from the first few pools. In the future, there's the possibility for NFTs. There's a possibility to do like a future tokenization agreement if a startup wanted to raise funding. And there's also the ability to further incentivize anybody that has a pool for their company or for their charity that gives them an incentive to keep the ADA in the ecosystem, to start paying their employees or paying their contractors with ADA, to start utilizing that as a way to bring transparency for how they're spending money as well. So that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. Wow, that was very quick and short and sweet. I do have a question. Thank you, Stephen, for presenting that. And Philippe, can I go ahead and just start off here? Is that okay?
Go for it.
Okay. Well, Stephen, first of all, I'm very glad you described how this is going to work. When you first presented your proposal several weeks ago, almost 2 months ago, I think, when I first read it, I thought, oh, it's a stake pool. And I didn't understand, like, okay, it's a stake pool. I don't know why you would want to fund that. And a couple other people thought the same thing. But now that you gave a verbal description, I do understand better what you are trying to accomplish. And it does make a lot more sense now that you've described it. So make sure I understand this correctly. You're going to set the fee to 90%, right?
Sure.
And then, so if I were a delegator and I wanted to donate to charity, let's say I have 10,000 ADA in my data list, and I can put 1,000 ADA in a wallet that I call donation wallet. Then I can point that 1,000 ADA to your pool as a charity. Then any rewards that are generated, 90% will stay in the pool, and I'll just get a smaller return from that section. Is that an accurate description? Did I describe that well, I guess?
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay.
I see there being two, and one of the reasons we chose for the first pool or first fund, if you want to call it, to be centered around sense making is that it's a concept that a lot of people, I think, within the Cardano community can buy into. And so there may be a number of them that have some extra ADA that want to just set it aside in this other wallet and essentially only generate enough to kind of hedge against inflation. Maybe make half a percent or 1% return on stake a year. But the main kind of driver here is trying to bring in other people that are currently outside of the Cardano ecosystem. But yes, there will be no bones about it, no under the table shadiness. If you're looking to get a return, a significant return, this is not a stake pool for you. I imagine based on the way the algorithms are, and we've stress tested it, obviously pools that have a higher pledge or given preference, better luck, better hit rate. We're saying we're not going to put up any pledge, and we're going to set the margin super high. It's not going to be attractive. If you're not familiar with the concept, or if you're not familiar with the purpose or the premise of it, you're probably not going to delegate. But if there's a clean water initiative charity in Uganda that has somebody that says, gosh, I really love this, and he's a billionaire and he just doesn't want to give away the money, you can say, well, you can buy some ADA and just put it in this holding account, and that'll give us $5,000 a month, 10,000, whatever it is in funding that we need. So just trying to look at it through that lens of there's this other option that theoretically is currently available that would be attractive to bring in people that are not involved with Cardano.
All right. Thank you. There's a really interesting question in chat. I guess we'll get to that. But any other questions from the Gauntlet? Chris, Jeronimo.
I have a quick question. So, I mentioned this before. Maybe it's a gripe, a bias I have against charities to start off with, but charities are often extremely, the amount of money that actually goes to the actual event is already low. So creating a stake pool to collect funds and ultimately pay a charity, there's a lot of money lost along the way. Is there just a more efficient way of doing this without, maybe just going through a third-party charity, or maybe setting something up yourself? I don't really know what the right answer is. Maybe it's more like a philosophical question, but as far as just inefficiencies.
Yeah, and I use charity just as an example. I try and cover the broad spectrum because theoretically any type of entity could use a stake pool to try and get funds, right? A Fortune 500 company, a charity. The first fund or pool, the funds are going to be given to 4 different companies. They're actual real companies that do different various projects and initiatives. So they're not necessarily charities. I'm probably of the same mind as you, and that there's some skepticism. If I donate $1 to the Red Cross, how many pennies are going to make it out to where I want it to go? So I get that and understand that. I think my argument, I guess, against that would be that it just comes down to what people want at the end of the day. Like if you're comfortable with doing it yourself or donating directly, then definitely do that. I don't think this is a one size fits all solution for everything. And honestly, we're at the beginning stage enough that I don't know what the best utilization or utility this concept will have, whether it's going to be for charities or for companies or startups. I'm not sure yet.
You're doing an experiment to see if it'll work.
Yeah, this is just a concept, and in my mind, it's more of a concept for people outside of the community. My challenge, and I'll share my screen if I can.
You can.
Okay. Yeah, the challenge that I kind of want to address is there a way, or can we essentially...
Okay, 30 seconds though.
Okay, cool. Can we... Look. Yeah, so like, what is a stake pool? Like, these are not concepts that, unless you're already involved, it's hard to teach people. So like, a big part of this is going to be educating people outside of the community. And I feel like this is a great way to provide companies and potential delegators or ADA holders a way to softly enter the ecosystem. So.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. And you can bring that down from the top center.
Bring it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Top. There you go.
There you go.
All right. Okay.
All right. Rick, you want to hit some of the YouTube comments?
Yeah, thank you very much, Stephen. I appreciate that. And we were going to go to the last 5 minutes of this section here. Let me get caught up briefly. All right, from Emonti. Stephen, who will hold the keys of the charity pool?
Who will hold it? Like, who will run the pool?
Yeah.
We will. So there, unfortunately, and there's another one, Stake for Good pool, that is kind of like, as far as I could tell, operating kind of like a DAO. Basically saying we're going to set aside 3% or whatever it is, and all the delegators will get to vote on where it goes. You know, we've seen how that turns out whenever they want to name. They had that calling for naming the boat, and it ended up being named Boaty McBoatface. So yeah, that's just we'll operate it. I just don't see any way around that. So we essentially will hold the keys, and if we screw up or we do something shady, then all the delegation goes away and the problem solves itself.
Yeah, and thank you for that, Stephen. I'm glad you answered that. I'm glad that question came up. No, we do have a couple more questions here, so we're going to have to go through them rapid fire. But
Good.
The fact that you put your name and your face behind the pool asking for a charity, I think is a positive indication of accountability. Like if you were a no name, no face, anonymous,
right?
I'd be like, hell no, because anybody can make a fake pool and say, we're a charity and donate to me because it'll make you feel good, right?
Right.
But there's absolutely no accountability when there's no name and no face. So that's a problem. That's a big problem in crypto. Everybody thinks they're Satoshi Nakamoto and they're not, right? So good job to you on putting your name and your face behind it. That's important. That builds trust with people. All right. So I'm going to get off that soapbox. We've got a couple minutes left, a lot of questions. The next one was, why is a pledge zero? Is it safe?
I think, the pledge being zero, is it safe? That's a function of trust. And so that'll have to be made up for in other ways. Algorithmically, how the stake pools work, it does have an effect. In my experience, it should be, again, this is going to be an experiment as well. If you've got a stake pool that has 100 million ADA staked and still has zero pledge, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think any of the pools out there have that, so I don't think there's that much of a difference. The only thing is, like, that's never been done. So I don't see there being a reason to increase the pledge. Maybe there would need to be, and depending on the project or who the money is going to, we may advise them and say, hey, you should actually lower the margin, take 50% of the cut. because this is not a great idea, or you're going to get more delegation. So I think there's a lot of wiggle room. It's kind of fluid.
Okay, that's good. Now there's a related question. Did you catch that one, Philippe? What was the other question? Oh, can you get the pledge sponsored? Like in the fund?
We could.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we could. Or if it was a company, a specific company that came to us and said, we love this idea and we want to be able to market and offer this as an option for our donors or an option for investors. Will you create a pool for us? And we'll advise them, say, yeah, you can set the pledge here. You can also have a better chance at getting delegators from within our community if you put up, some pledge. So I think that would be an option. It'll just be kind of up to the market to decide if that's something they want to do.
Okay.
All right.
We have a quick
We would
question
not do that just to keep the overhead low.
All right, 1 minute left. Go ahead.
Oh, wait, we have a quick question from James Keever. One benefit of charitable giving is being able to write off. Hold on, I just lost the question. Being able to write off the deduction.
Tax write-off.
Yes. So would you be able to write off any charitable donations? Will that be possible?
Now I'm rethinking even bringing up the word charity. It wasn't supposed to be the focus, but no. Essentially, right now there's no way to do that. So if you want the write-off, this is not a good solution for that. I have not solved for that, and I don't think from the IRS perspective that being a delegator is worthy of a tax write-off. So the answer is no. There's no solution there.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
And to be fair, I mean, crypto regulation is already so murky, so going that extra step and asking for tax write-offs, I think we're far from that.
Yeah. Taxes it varies by location, right? So some locations it might be reasonable. There's no way we could possibly answer it. So anytime there's a question about tax, it's great to discuss, but it's almost impossible to answer for any one given location. Is that a pretty fair assessment, Philippe?
Yes.
All right. Okay. And that's it. Well, it was time. Perfect. Okay. So thank you, everyone in the chat. We got the chat questions answered, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
All right, Stephen, thank you for that. Now, here's what I would like the viewers in the audience. Thank you all for those questions. Give Stephen some feedback on his proposal on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being average and 10 being awesome. Let him know in the chat. Give him a number, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever you think it is. Give him some feedback. Also, in the description down below, there's a link to his proposal over at Project Catalyst. You can go ahead and click on that link. Leave him some written feedback on his Catalyst proposal. And if you really like his proposal, then hit the clap button to leave kudos. You can leave some kudos for him there. So thank you very much for that, Stephen. Okay, and one more person left. Philippe, what do we got, sir?
Yes, last but not least, Jeronimo. So Jeronimo made an appearance on the Cardano Effect 2 podcast ago to talk about Shopify. Today, he's talking about ENVLP, a wallet with plugins. So Jeronimo, the floor is yours. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. So basically, my idea is to build a wallet that can work like a mobile phone. When you get it out of the box, it doesn't have much. You can just do the basic stuff. And you can go to some sort of plugin store or app store where you get plugins that add functions to your wallet and add more, extend the capabilities of that and change the user interface and enable all sorts of different things. So I prepared a presentation to display a few ideas of things that could be developed as plugins for the wallet and how that will work as well. So let me just share my screen here, hopefully. Hey. Share, can you see that?
Yes, we can.
All right. Hopefully this starts. Okay. So when you open a wallet, what you see usually is your wallets, the transactions in a wallet, and the send and receive buttons, And in the case of Cardano, you get stake pools and other stuff. But in general, all the wallets of all cryptocurrencies provide that. The thing is, the transactions that you see on the wallet, they can have something associated with it, and that can link to an external system. And that external system could have a plugin that integrates with the wallet and give you more information and allows you to use the wallet more effectively and have everything that uses your crypto in a single place. So, for example, in this slide, you can see here you have 3 transactions. Let's say you received 500 ADA because you sold 2 T-shirts online, and you send 258 out to your kid as an allowance or something, and you send another 250 to an exchange. Now, currently, when you open the wallet, all you see is that you see the transactions, and you don't know what is the history connected to that. And the idea is that using a plugin, for example, I am building a wallet already for the free commerce because I really want to make a wallet that allows you to online stores to see that when they sell something, they will be able to see in their wallet that they sold 2 T-shirts, they got 500 ADA, the customer was that guy, and they have all the history. But it could also enable things like that. Let's say someone builds a wallet name service, meaning I can associate a name or my name to a wallet address. Let's say Charlie lives in Germany and he has this wallet address 1XYZ. And from my wallet, I send money to this kid there. The idea is that I should be able to have the wallet behave differently because I installed a plugin that uses this wallet name service and can show me that I sent that money to that person instead of that address. You could also enable a plugin for converting your balances. So you want to see your transactions in ADA, in USD or Euro, whatever. And the plugins can communicate with themselves as well. So for example, let's say there's this wallet name service, and there is an information that this belongs to someone in Germany. So I could show the transaction in euros there, for example. Also, what happens when you send money to an exchange? Everything then that occurs with your crypto is only seen in the exchange. It is not seen by the wallet. When you send, let's say you make trades and you made a profit and you send 2,000 ADA back, what you see is that, oh, I sent 250, got 2,000 back. But you could also probably load all the transactions inside the wallet as well, so you could see all your crypto movements in a single place. And now we come to the tax problem. You received money in your wallet, and that money came from your sales and from your trading. Now, there could be plugins that do the accounting work for us. There are external accounting software that already exist, like Zero QuickBooks. And if someone creates a plugin for these systems, we could then from the wallet send the information about all of our transactions to these accounting systems, and they will then perform the tax calculation for you automatically. And you can do all of that from inside your wallet without ever having to, get a report from all of your exchanges and getting reports from your online stores. You do all of that juggling to get all the paperwork organized and then sent to an accounting software. There's also this problem of jurisdiction. So it can change a lot depending on the jurisdiction. So the idea of the plugins is also to enable developers that are all around the world to build their accounting software that solves the accounting problem they have in their own jurisdiction. So if I'm in Brazil, I could fire up my wallet and install the tax calculator for Brazil. So I will pay and calculate the taxes based on the location I'm in. And the idea is to build this ecosystem where people can, or where developers can build all of these functionalities that connect services to a wallet, and enable people from all around the world to use just the wallet and have everything available in some sort of app store like this. So when you open your wallet in the beginning, in the left here, you see you could open a plugin store, and you'll be offered a selection of the apps, tax options, lists of stake pools, reports, integrations with trading, utilities, and even integrations with other cryptos. So plugins basically mean you can import functionality that is much different from what the original developers thought. So someone who holds Bitcoin may think that's a good idea to build a plugin for this wallet because they want access to the tax integrations we already have. So they will build a Bitcoin plugin or XRP plugin or Dogecoin plugin and enable that. And the next day, when you open your wallet, you'll have, if you want, you can install this Bitcoin plugin and be able to hold both coins or whatever many coins you want into your wallet. So in the end, you'll see one person will configure their wallet like this. They will have reporting installed and currency conversion reporting and integrations with an accounting software. And the idea is that the wallet itself will behave differently because of the integrations, and these integrations will change the way the wallet behaves and looks like. So if you trade, for example, if you're a trader, you can enable something like an integration with Binance that will open a trading screen inside the wallet. I have code that I can add as a plugin as well to generate signals, for example. So if you are a holder, but you want to have some sort of signaling from some strategy you have, so you put indicators, and you can have your wallet warning you that, well, maybe it's time to sell because 1 ADA now is $1,000 or something. Yeah, and then you can sell. Then you get a warning, and you can probably even trade from within your wallet and have these buy and sell buttons from inside the wallet because it's connected to Binance or whatever. Just saying, it's not even it's possible to do that. I already have code that does that. I just didn't integrate that to the wallet. So how will the envelope wallet work? It will basically be a basic wallet program with a big plugin manager where plugins are developed by third parties. So you can have the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, build a plugin because in the United States you have something you need to do that with your wallet. You install that there. Someone creates a plugin for XRP, QuickBooks is a plugin, and you can see that the plugins and they can communicate with each other. So they can expose functions to each other and work in cooperation as well. So I have an idea to allow, for example, plugins to translate other plugins. So it's an architecture that it looks complicated. It's not too complicated.
15 seconds.
Okay, cool. Okay. So, oops, sorry. So yeah, that's basically it. Having my idea is to give the world a wallet that will enable them to use everything in a single place, and all the cryptos in a single place, all the functions you need to manage crypto in that single place, and all sorts of functionalities people can build and create this ecosystem around and share with everyone. So that's basically it.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. All
Cool.
right. It's time. Okay. Jeronimo, first of all, thank you for explaining how plugins work. You can go and bring that screen
sorry.
share down.
Yep.
I am a customer of plugins. I don't know how they work. To me, it's a black box. You load this thing and it does something. So thank you for that explanation.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. So my first question there about it is, will this plugin work with the Shopify technology that you've presented before?
Yeah, so the idea of the Shopify is the Shopify thing is that I will have a plugin that will connect to the wallet as well. So there will be a Shopify plugin or a free commerce plugin. All right, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeronimo, like how flexible are the plugins that these third-party developers can access? Like, for example, you gave the example of the SEC and maybe some other tax company. QuickBooks is using a certain plugin. How can they manipulate information to get what they want out of the customer or out of whatever transactions or platforms that they're using? How flexible is it?
Okay, so the idea is to build. It can be super flexible. The plugin interface that is exposed to each other is a common contract that provides information. And essentially, plugins can send what's called objects. So it can be anything. And what needs to happen is that the other plugin that consumes this object, it needs to interpret that and extract information from it. I can make the life of the plugin developers easier by providing common contracts between these plugins, defining things like a transaction has these properties like amount, from and to, and currency and time and all that stuff. And using that common knowledge, it becomes easier to develop. But plugins can communicate with all sorts of using all sorts of different approaches, like exchanging files, exchanging objects in memory, connecting to a same database using some external server, and also it's pretty flexible. It's not limited.
Okay.
All right. Questions from the Gauntlet. Stephen, Chris, Rob, anything?
How much funding are you asking for on this?
I'm asking to. I'm building a wallet already. The funding is around 300,000, 370,000 or something, to fund the work of building a plugin with these wallet capabilities enabled. So I need not only a Cardano wallet, but I need to then make everything work as in this plugin environment. So I need to create the plugin architecture, and I need to create this online store of plugins where people can submit their plugins to, and to which wallets will then read from and get reviews and stars and developer information and all that stuff.
Yeah, and the price here is 354,000 ADA.
Yeah.
That's the meat in the middle price. I like how you do that, Jeronimo. Low end 295, high end 414, meat in the middle at 354. I think that's very clever. It's very smart.
Yeah, software development is like that. Sometimes I think it's going to take a week, then it takes 3.
So you kind of put the risk in there, right?
Yeah.
That makes
Worst
sense.
case scenario, best case scenario. So
that makes
you go
sense.
in the half. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the question, Chris. Anyone else?
So Chris, if you have this aggregator of information, you can build a plugin to submit all of that information into the wallet. So who wants to see your information, they can just install your plugin and load all of this stuff.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. We have a lot of questions in chat. We still have a minute left. Any other questions? We'll roll over to chat. All good?
Yes, let's roll over to chat.
Thank you, Jeronimo. We're going to roll over to chat. All right, the first one. was from Max Lettenberger. Scroll all the way up. You got to scroll up. Max says, we might be jumping the gun here, but what doesn't this introduce new privacy threats? Jeronimo.
So yeah, the idea here is that the plugins they run in a sandbox that doesn't have access to your resources or your keys and all that stuff, okay, or your clipboard. So for security, there are security measures that can be implemented there, right? Now, the privacy part is my intention here is that the wallet can work without having any information of anything. So if, for example, you are a Binance customer, you just put the stuff in, you just download this Binance integration. You put your credentials in the wallet, it's going to be stored locally. And when you want to trade from it within your wallet, it will use this stuff from your local storage. It's nothing works online here. So it's not shared with anyone.
Okay. Next question from Darko Gospodvich. And I guess this repeats the previous question. Does having many plugins make the wallet vulnerable to hacks? In the second part, how does one ensure that a plugin is legit?
So yeah, what the plugins can do is the wallet can even connect to GitHub, to the GitHub of an account of a project, get the code and compile that locally and build the plugin in your computer. Okay, it can also, of course, pull the plugins online from these online store. All the plugins, my intention is that they are submitted to the Maven Central Repository, which is a Java program software manager. And all of these libraries are signed by the developer, okay? There is always this risk of being hacked by someone. That's why we have this security manager that doesn't allow plugins to do a lot of things with your computer, like reading your local files and things like this, unless you share like a temporary folder or something of the type. But that's pretty much it with regards to software security. We can probably go at a later time implement bug bounties and things like that to try and find any other security issues. But my intention also is to not have keys stored in your local computer like Daedalus does. So what Daedalus does is it stores like your seed phrase, and it's protected, encrypted with a password. I would like to have a wallet that doesn't have that. But my first approach will be to have a wallet that works exactly like Daedalus with all the functions, meaning it will store the credentials locally like Daedalus does, because it will use the Cardano wallet, but I want to move away from that later.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Jeronimo. Okay, we got 1 minute and 20 seconds left. And there was a comment from one person. They said they'd like to have one wallet that does everything. Another from Max Ledbetter says, how does this service integration solution differ from Atala Prism? What unique benefits? Can you give us a real short nutshell? How's it different from Atala Prism? I think it's very different.
I have no clue about Atala Prism and what it does. I think it's just an identity solution. So I don't think it does have anything to do with the wallet itself. You could have, if Atala Prism has some function that could benefit from having your identity managed by your wallet, then you can have an Atala Prism plugin later. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are people asking, is this an all-purpose wallet?
Yeah. Okay. It's more of a plugin or ecosystem than a wallet by itself. So even the Cardano wallet part is going to be a plugin. So you can have multiple Cardano wallets if you want later. You can choose the one that works like Daedalus. You can use another one that works like your and connects to a server, and it doesn't download the blockchain locally. So you can have multiple things. Yeah.
Okay. And that's time. That's the last of it. Okay. Thank you, Jeronimo. And thank you, everyone, all the viewers, for your questions. We very much appreciate them. What I need from the viewers is give Jeronimo some feedback on how you like this proposal on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being average and 10 being awesome. Let Jeronimo know in the chat how you like his proposal. Check out the links down below in the description to the Project Catalyst. You can click on the link. You can go to Jeronimo's Project Catalyst project. You can leave him some written feedback there. And if you really like his project, you can leave him some kudos by hitting the clap button at the top of the project. All right. So thank you, viewers, and thank you, Jeronimo and Philippe. I think that's a wrap, isn't it?
It's yes, it sounds like it. I want to thank all 4 of you for joining us. We had Rob, we had Chris, we had Jeronimo, and we had Steven. Like Rick said, the links are below. If you like this episode, please show your support. If you like Rick dressed up as William Wallace from Braveheart, show your support. And we really appreciate you joining us on this Halloween. Happy Halloween to everyone. Remember, all of these projects can be found on Project Catalyst. And there goes Jeronimo with the mask. Very appropriate.
I love it. Love it.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
All right, everyone. Episode 112 of the Cardano Effect Podcast. Until next time. Bye, everyone.
Great. Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Total.